about time I get this thing running. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take this carburetor off and clean it, and maybe, just maybe, put on some new fuel lines. We'll see. These fuel lines are notorious for going bad, but access to these fuel lines, like everywhere that they go, is kind of a pain. So we're gonna start by taking this box off. These are I lubed these up with WD-40 first, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little notches. What you do is you pull this tab up and then slide it, and I might need 2 hands to do this, maybe not, but there you go. So we're gonna do that to all these, and then we'll come back. So these 2 back ones, it's easier to come from the other side and reach them. So reach in from the other side all the way to the back and get them. All right, you may need to pry on this a little bit, but after a bit, it'll come. Just kind of go around, pry it up a little bit, and it'll come up slowly but surely. Once you get that off, you reveal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Allen bolts that you can take out, and also there are these 2 bolts here, this and this. They're 5 mil, and just pop that in and start cranking stuff loose. Unloose all 8 of these. All right, once we get those off, you can pull that little guy out, and the flame resistor / air filter is just sitting in here. You just pop that thing right out, and would you look at that? We got ourselves the carburetor. That's right. Oh, it's down there. You see it? That's our intake. So I am going to go ahead and, I believe, take this top piece off. I haven't worked on these single carbureted Seadoos, but it looks like that's what I do. And then it may give me access to some bolts, maybe. But I can't really see with all this stuff in the way. So I'm going to pull this top piece off. Looks like it's just another 3 5mm Allen heads. Alright, so the bolt, see if we can get a look at it, down here. I can't see behind that stuff, which is, tells you how hard it's going to be to get to. It's a 1/2-inch bolt. I'm going to go ahead and remove as much of the cables and hoses as I can. And real quick, while I've got this out, I'll show you a little tool that I made to get the hoses off. The hoses are, I don't know, kind of a pain in the butt to get to. All I've done, I'll link to the video right now, but I ground down a screwdriver, and basically I just take this old screwdriver that I've ground down, and I shove it into a little hole that is in the fuel line little clamps. These are special Seadoo clamps, and just pops these things right open. Very simple. I prefer to do it that way as opposed to cranking on it or cutting them out. I can reach this one back there too. Back behind that. There it is. Just pops right off. And one more. I better remember where these hoses go. These fuel lines go. Popped off. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna remember this. Fuel line with the, for some reason there's a little coupler here, or a piece that keeps them together. That one goes on the top. You've got a fuel line below it, and that one is full and complete. Looks like they come from somewhere up here in the front of the engine, in front of the Seadoo. And then this last one is goes down into the lower part of the engine. Don't see too much, but that's it down there. I'll probably replace these hoses if I have easy access to them, because this and you can kind of see there's just gunk because of the ethanol in the fuel. I guess it just eats away at these old gray lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap those out for new lines. Let me try to work on these bolts now. See how it goes. So just found out my phone was waterproof because I just dropped it into this thing of water. Let's go ahead and pause that and clean you up. Let's see if I can pause it. Showed me really quickly. Got this wire off for this cable. This cable here connects into the carburetor, but the place that you remove it is down right there. You can see that. So I'll go ahead and work on that right now. Give me some room to take out those half-inch bolts. Well, I can't get to this half-inch bolt over here because this bugger's in the way. I'm going to go ahead and remove it. I think it's a 7/16 size bolt. So I'm going to remove that and pull this little assembly off and give me access to that bolt. I was able to get the other side off with relative ease, but we'll see what happens with this one. The washer came off pretty easy from it, or the bolt, sorry. The nut, excuse me. The washer is here. Put this over here in my bucket of parts. Let's see if this just, oh, it does. It just slides right off. Now it's spring loaded. But it doesn't do anything. I thought it was going to spring back at me. So now I'm going to see if I have access to it. Good, Ari. How's your trip? Connected here, and I was able to remove it. I didn't know how to get it out at first, but right inside here, there's a very, very small Allen head screw or bolt, and that's how you loosen up this little screw in there. You can see it. That's how you loosen it up, and it allows that bar to slide out. So now I'm going to start taking the carburetor apart. We're just going to clean it a little. I'm going to start by removing these 4 bolts. All right, remove this little cover here. There's a tab right there, and this reveals our first look into the carburetor. It looks like some corrosion, not corrosion, but some debris left over from gas. I'm going to carefully remove this, make sure there aren't any tears or rips in it, and kind of clean it off very lightly. Yeah, it's sticking there. So I'm just going to clean this out, and it looks like that's the reason this carburetor or this ski wasn't running. This Seadoo is probably because these were just gummed up, the carburetor. So I'm going to remove that. How is that on there? It's on there like this. So that goes face down like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and start removing some of this stuff in here. These 2 screws, remove this screw to get the I can't remember what that's called, but get this out. I'm just going to take everything apart and clean it with some car cleaner. So I couldn't get those bolts out, so I soaked them with WD-40, decided to turn it over and get this side taken apart and cleaned. So I went ahead and took these 4 bolts out of it, and it exposes this side of the carburetor. This one looks cleaner, but not great. So there's a little plastic piece here that I'll remove carefully and just clean out, make sure everything looks good. I am going to remove this O-ring, make sure it looks good. The next piece here looks okay. Doesn't look like we're having any problems with that. Oh, well, that's interesting to see that piece of wood right there. Or piece of whatever that is. Maybe that looks like a piece of wood. That may have fallen from another part of the carburetor, but that is definitely not supposed to be in there. It looks like This may be a little deformed, not the way that it should be. I'll try to get this thing off without breaking anything, but yeah, that looks like it's been melted. So I might need to get a rebuild kit for this. We'll see. But that's definitely deformed. Alright, slowly remove this stuff. Everything here looks like it's okay. I think this is a filter. Yeah, it's pretty gummed up. So, not gummed up, but there's debris in here. That's for sure. So I'll clean that out. Yeah, this thing's been running with some crap in the carburetor. So I'm just going to go ahead and take everything else out. Spray the holes. And hopefully this thing will run again. I'll pull this out later on my own 2 hands. Alright, so this little bolt was a bugger to get out. I had to whip out the old impact wrench. I was finally able to get it to come. There we go. That goes there. This piece can come out now. Make sure I'm not losing anything important. Looks like there's another little plastic piece. Plastic, or maybe not, but I'm going to go ahead and take this off and clean it. And then there's a jet down there. You can see it. The brass jet. I'm going to pull that and remove it. Clean it out. Throw a whole bunch of compressed air at this thing, carb cleaner, and then put it all back together. Got my co-worker here, Mr. Caleb. He's tightening up the 1/2-inch bolts. We got the carburetor put back together. It's very important to remember where things go. Half the time I don't, but whatever. Alright, so now we're putting the 1/2-inch nuts on. It's very tedious. Kind of a pain in the butt to get them to fit, and then he's just really slow to get these things on. You got that side tight? Alright, proceed to this side. And getting this side, you've got to pull up on the throttle cable to get access to it with the wrench. So that's what we're doing there. And while he's doing that, I'm going to replace these old fuel lines. This here, these guys, with some new nice fancy fuel lines. So.
Other cars.
I've got to reinstall this, and hopefully I remember how to do it properly. But there's a spacer, a little lock nut that goes there, and I think this side goes on next. That may or may not look right. I think it is. Actually, I think it goes the other way. I think it goes down. Does that work? I'm gonna have to figure out how this thing goes back on. Was able to finally route the wires that went on. I hope that's right. We've got this throttle cable. There's a choke cable underneath here that you've got to. I think it's right there. Wherever it is, right there. You've got to tighten once again that Allen bolt that's inside this little locker, and then down here the oil pump. I hope I've got it routed correctly, but it looks like it's working properly. And now I just got to bolt everything back together. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to try to start it without the air box and filter on. So I'm just going to bolt on these 3 bolts and see if it starts, and hopefully we're good. Go ahead, try to crank it. Pull on the throttle. Pull the choke, Caleb. Choke it here. Okay, you go ahead and give it some gas while. All right, it's not starting. It's not getting gas yet. Let's give it a little carb cleaner. Help it get a little jump start. All right, go ahead. Oh, you give it gas. Very good. All right, let's burn off the carb cleaner. Let's get some actual gas in it now. Go ahead. starting for us. Crank on it. Push the button too. There we go. You gotta keep that button. Keep that button in. Push it again. Let's start it up. Oh, let's choke it a little bit. Go ahead and start it up. Start it up. We're running, baby! Woo! Woo! Now we're talking. Sweet. We got a running jet ski. Take this boss out tomorrow. Smoke. So typically you should run water into it, but with these jet skis, they're not. You can run them for a second without having too big of a problem. So you attach a little line right here usually. Maybe we'll do that just to make sure everything's going well. I got to go to a wedding, but when I get back. That's good news. That's real good news. Let's fire it up one more time just for the heck of it. Go ahead. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. Beautiful.